Hello, good evening. Sue here. It's been a super long day, you guys. Got to bed at about 1 and then back up at 5 to help my sister out. Brought her in for an appointment. Everything went well. Got her back home, got home, and been busy since. But I thought I'm going to pop on and talk about blessings in pennies. Hey, Lucas, welcome. So I wanted to talk about blessings in pennies. Many of you may not know, my name is Sue again, and I'm from Minnesota, but many of you may not know that I come from a family of 12, and I'm third to the youngest. Yes, third to the youngest. I had 3 brothers and 8 sisters. We grew up in a very fun, loving home. But as most of you know, when you have a family that size, money's always tight. And so one thing that my dad taught me when we were growing up was every time he found a penny, you guys, every time he found a penny on the ground, he would bend over. No matter how crippled he would bend over, sometimes almost falling on his face to get it. And whoever was with him would have to help pick it up. But he'd pick it up, and the first thing he'd say is never walk by a penny. And then we get that little talk, about, that there's blessings all around you and look for them. And this one is one that I just have to tell you guys, I finally had made little jars. They're called blessing jars. And every time I find pennies now, I put those little pennies in there. And they remind me of my dad that, that it's so important to look for those little small things all around you, to notice the penny. So one day I was out this last week cleaning up the yard, and sure enough, there was this very, very dirty penny mixed into the seed or the grass. And so I bent over to pick it up and immediately, of course, remembered my dad and thinking about this, that sometimes we can not think of all of these blessings that are around us, no matter how small they are. The roof over your head, the food in your mouth. And that's how it was as we grew up. Sometimes money was tight, the food was tight, but somehow we all survived. There was plenty of love and, of course, prayer and faith going around, right? So that's what I wanted to share with you today, that, it's so many times that since my dad has passed away, that when I find those little individual pennies, I put them in my blessing jar and remember, as I look at it, and remind myself that life is not always perfect and was never perfect, and grew up in a large family with things so tight sometimes. I didn't even realize it growing up that I was poor, if you want to put it that way, that we were poor. And so when I went into teenage years, and I was, one of them, very self-motivated, had my own job, working in the nursing home, taking care of the elderly, I never even thought twice that how I grew up was not the norm, didn't even register. And so sometimes I really like when I go to the penny jar and I look around and I'm just thankful, no matter what, that there's cracks in the sidewalk, or that the deck, the varnish isn't perfect, or, there's a nail popping on the deck floor, or, just go get that hammer and pound it in, right? And just those little tiny things that, make a house, that sometimes they're not perfect, right? So that's what it kind of reminded me of, is that no matter what in life, that life is never, ever going to be perfect. Life is not going to be what we want, a bed of roses without the thorns, right? So, yep, that's what I just wanted to share with you guys tonight, was those little pennies just remind me over and over again of my dad and all the blessings and joy he brought to me in my life, that every time we'd find a penny along the way, that Sue would bend over and pick it up before he would, so he wouldn't fall on his face, and make her laugh. It's like, okay, Dad, you're pushing a walker now. It's time to not be bending over and picking those pennies up. And then other times, if we had the time, I would take the time and help him pick it up so that he could pick it up. But it's funny that what your memories are and how things jog your mind growing up in a large family, that, these little things like this keep us humble, keep us, remembering our roots and where we came from, right? That life is a blessing. So it's just all I wanted to share with you guys tonight. And if you missed it, you can feel free to watch the replay. Hey, Kim. Hey, Sandy. Hey, Roxy. How are you guys doing tonight? Hey, Elaine. So, yep, Those pennies and the blessings. Blessings and the pennies. So you guys have a good night, and I will be back again. But just remember that, those little blessings and all kinds of little things and the memories of the people around you. And, you know, kind of reminds me too when I look at the picture behind me of the Great Lakes, being with the kids, 6 kids up at the Lake Superior, and just looking for agates. You know, very inexpensive, fun, loving time with the family. So there you have it, you guys. I hope you can find those little blessings in life that bring you joy. And have a good night. Sleep well. Thanks for watching.